Okay. All right, now, tell me what's right. All right, so like I was saying, these bonds are held with the state treasury department within your local state treasury department in your district. And what I was about to say is that all these, every district is set up just like the United States corporation. So you'll have your own treasury department, you have your own Department of Revenue in your state, you have your own attorney general, mayor's office, so forth and so on. So it's good to get in the habit of getting familiar with your local departments instead of being so uh quick to like go to like the United States comptroller or the United States Treasury, or when you can go to the treasury within your district that's already holding those records for your account. It's already registered in that district. So it's better that you start using your local offices like the Department of Revenue and any kind of tax department within your local departments before you reach out to the federal departments. Always keep that in mind. Now, bonds for state and local officials often are recorded in the state finance office. So let me pull this up real quick. I'm gonna show you real quick uh, how you look this up. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go to, all right, let me make sure y'all can see what I got. Oh, I'm in a little bit, thinking I'm in the search for it. So it's called the Commissioner of Finance, the Director of Finance, the Missouri's Finance Department. All right, so this is like where you can come in. Now, of course, you're gonna look this up in your own state, and because you got to get familiar with how your state operates, because every state is a little bit different. So, like certain things that I might say that I do in Missouri or in Illinois, unless you stay in Illinois, then that'll be applicable. But it's very important that anything that I show you, like what I'm showing you on the screen, that you look this up stuff up in your state, because you got to get familiar with those. See, it looked like a plain website, but this website is very intricate and it's very complex, and you have to actually take your time and you got to play with these websites like I do. I come on here, I'll be tapping on stuff, trying to see what it is, go to the about section, look in there and see what I can find. And you'll be surprised, like a lot of people come on here and they have no idea of what these websites offer. But anyway, so this is where you would come, like if you got like identity theft, find out how to protect yourself, right? Uh, find a bank or a license, right? So we click here. So when you want to like find like a bank or a license or something to that degree, this is where you come. It says find a licensed lender, mortgage broker, or state chartered bank by entering your search term into the field below. Fill in as many fields as you like. For example, you could enter cash for entry name, and you can and the number for the zip code. And this will give you all entries with cash in their name with the zip code, right? So it's telling you how you can actually, go about, putting it like, and then putting the zip code, and then you'll find like whatever banks, and then like all these right here. See how I got these licenses and stuff like that, how you can look these people up and you can see in view. Let's take a view. License, charter. I go to number, the name, right? Is 24-hour checking, cashing, Inc., doing business as Waldo Financial. Address, it gives the address, and then the county, Jackson, and then the phone number. All right, so like these are things that you got to learn how to actually come and do. Like, so, and understanding like financing, which I think is really important, like reading over like the what financing is, reading about the finance charge, really going into like Article 15, reading about the finance charge, really like, I think that a lot of times when we read stuff, we only read it when we feel we have a particular interest for it at that particular moment. But I think we need to all get into the habit of reading stuff just to learn, to have enough understanding of what it is that's going on so you can act on the information. We're limited in our ability to act if we lack understanding of everything that's going on. So, uh, man, it's a beautiful thing. Knowledge is beautiful, but you gotta actually put in some work. So let me go back. So right here, you got like a consumer section, right? Now, when you go to this consumer section, it says consumer complaints. File a complaint against a bank or a mortgage broker or a lender, right? Now, a consumer can file a complaint against the institution within the division of financing jurisdiction by submitting an online or a paper complaint form by email, fax, or fax. Be sure to print a copy for your records. We will review the facts in the complaint form and determine if there is a violation of Missouri law. The company against which the complaint has been filed will be contacted, provide a copy of the complaint form, and ask for a response. You will be provided with a copy of the letter to the company. This process generally takes about 30 days. All right, other complaints, consumers file complaints with other DCI division using the links below. Now, it gives you all these links. All right, now this is stuff that a lot of people don't know. So the benefit of like what I'm showing you is critical because like when we trying to hold different companies accountable, when you're trying to see if different persons are licensed to do certain acts, things that they're doing and they're not, and they're doing them, then you can actually file complaints. You can show proof of violations where you've been charged and this person doesn't have a license to even be issuing or collecting. You see, like things like that, like which is like crucial because like a lot of cops, when they issue citations and they're not licensed to issue a instrument for collections, when they do stuff like that, you can hold them accountable. You can file complaints like against them for federal violations. You're not licensed to do that. Hold on. Hello. Hello? Hello? All right, but anyway, like I was saying, so right here you can file a complaint against an insurance company or an agent, or you can file a complaint against a vehicle service contract provider, okay? Or file a complaint against a credit union. Or you can file a complaint against a licensed professional, a doctor, a nurse, a barber, a massage therapist, and so forth, right? So, like, knowing this is very, important. Like, it says find a bank or licensee or my bank deposit safe or my credit union deposit safe, debt collection, Missouri's Council on Economic Education. Like, it's just a lot of resourceful information right there. But this, so we're gonna click on one of these, right? All right, we'll click on file a complaint. All right, so when you file a complaint against a professional, this is Missouri's Division of Professional Registration. Hello. 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 Yeah, all right. So I'm back. But anyway, like I was saying, this is Missouri's Division of Professional uh regulations. And this is their address. And this is like email. And I think this is like their website where you can go directly to their website. All right. And this is the Board of Accountancy. Uh, like when you're dealing with something pertaining to accounting of a bank or institution, Missouri's uh I can't even pronounce it, acupunctionist advisory committee. And then you got all these different things, man. As you can see some of these words I'm gonna have to look up, but these are all these different where you can file complaints or give different types uh, of institutions depending on what it is that you need the complaint for. This is where you were gonna see. This kind of like when you're dealing with a trainer, personal trainer. Like when you come on here and you start looking, well, not here specifically, unless you live in Missouri, but you get where I'm going. When you find it in your state and you pull this stuff up, you'll be able to come and you'll be able to find, depending on what type of complaint you need to file, you will find that specific institution that licensed those types of individuals, and then that's where you will file that complaint. Now, all these institutions that are licensing institutions are only for the state of Missouri. In your state, it will be the exact same. Okay. So you come here, and as you can see, it's a host of them, for all different types. They even got martial arts and everything. They got, man, massage therapy, where if you have any board of nurses, board of occupational therapy, you just look, man, and you be like, oh my God, they got everything where you can just file complaints. And a lot of people don't even know. We don't even know that this stuff even exists. So Just keep that in mind. So that's, hold on, where'd you go? Go back to the consumer section. So that's, like I said, that's within filing a complaint against a licensed professional. Now, when we go against a credit union, it takes us here, okay? Where we can actually file within that state, you know, uh, things like that. All right, so now the state finance office or the municipal insurance pool, some cities and counties maintain an insurance-backed bond for officials. All right, so they got a lot of things they got going on. They got like insurance pools, they got surety bond companies, right? Now, I think I've showed y'all already how to find the insurance bond companies or the insurance companies for the United States. Well, they got a bunch of insurance companies for surety bonds, private insurance companies that issue bonds to government officials, police officers, and elected officials. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. If I can show it to y'all where they have it at. I think it's on. I think this is it where I showed it to y'all before, where they got from like A to Z, and these are like like all of the insurance companies that do underwriting for insurance, and pretty much any one of us can actually, if you need a insurance or a surety bond for your company and you want to go commercial, do business, you definitely would actually need something like this. All right. This information is not just for you to understand how to hold them accountable or how to research and find out uh, what insurance surety companies that these people are tied to, and find the surety company's information within your state, the list of all the surety companies and stuff like that. So we know this right here is all of them. Like when you go to the United States, surety bond companies, this is all of them. Any of them that's in the United States, period. And it gives you like all the information. See, and then look, all these licenses and all these, see that? Man, these people making big money. These people, woo, these people getting, you think you ain't, they get money you ain't could never imagine. You couldn't even fathom how much money these people make, man. Like for real. One company. That's just one company alone. Man. But I just wanted to show y'all. So this is where they all are at. Now you know where to go. So when you want to look that up for any of the surety companies for the United States, and where they usually get their surety bonds. Now you got the business and professional bonds, may be licensed by professionals, uh, are required to carry a surety bond before they can legally operate, right? So, uh, And that's any business profession. Like when you go to a business club or you go to a restaurant, you know, all these businesses and everybody, man, they all have bonds, yo. Everybody is bonded in order to carry on their activities and trusting over the public, right? Now, the debt collectors must be bonded in compliance with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Now, if you're not familiar with the Fair Debt, the FDCAP, right? And it's known as the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. This act, I can't stress it enough, is one of the most important acts when you understand uh, federal jurisdiction, when you understand the United States Federal Corporation, and you understand the American Republic, and you understand how all business is done in the US, but the people we live and reside in the Republic. But most people don't understand the difference. But the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, this act deals with unfair, deceptive practices and acts being done in the federal district against the American people. All right. Anybody that's doing anything deceptive in the federal territories, this act will expose what that is. And I'm going to show you something real quick, right? So the first thing it talks about is an abundance of evidence of the use of deceptive and unfair debt collection practices by many debt collectors. Abusive debt collection practices contribute a number of personal bankruptcies and marital instabilities to the loss of jobs and an invasion of individual privacy, right? Because anytime somebody make you pay, then that means that somebody has acquired an interest in your person, which means that you are not a secured person, all right? Because somebody else is collecting the obligation duty. So when you understand these aspects, you understand why it's important for you to know certain things. So let me go down real quick, show you something. All right, so when you come to the debt collectors may not use any false deception or misleading representations in connection with the collection of any debt without limiting the general application of the foregoing. The following conduct is a violation of this section. The false representation or implication that a debt collector is vouched for, bonded by, or affiliated with the United States or any state, including the use of a badge, a uniform, or a facsimile thereof, the false presentation of the character amount or legal status of any debt, right? Right? The false representation of the character amount, right? The character amount. Let me show you something real quick. Because a lot of people, we all don't think the same. Now you see this? Now I asked it, what is the legal definition of character amount? right? Such evidence is admissible, first, to afford a presumption that a particular party has not been guilty of a criminal act. Two, the effects, damages in a particular case where their amount depends on the character and conduct of any individual. And three, to impeach or confirm the veracity of a witness. Right? What is this word right here? Refers to conformity to fact, accuracy, truthfulness, or habit of telling the truth. It can also refer to the correctness or accuracy of a statement or a piece of information, right? So what it's saying is, in so many, that is crazy. But in so many words, what this is trying to tell you is that right? Where was I at before that? When it talks about the character amount, right, or the legal status of any debt or any services rendered or compensation which may be lawfully received by any debt collector, the collection by any debt collector for the collection of a debt, the false representation or implication that any individual is an attorney, or that any communication is from an attorney. The representation or implication that a non-payment of any debt will result in an arrest or imprisonment for any person, or the seizure, garnishment, attachment, or the sale of any property or wages of any person unless such action is lawful. So when you come here and you read this, this is the federal law, man. This is what, if anybody's doing anything that's conducive to any of this stuff right here, this is what you can actually hold them liable for. They're in violation of this law. You see what I'm saying? Right? The false representation or implication that the consumer committed any crime or other conduct or order to disgrace the consumer. Now, why would it say that? Think about what it's saying. It's saying that if somebody say you committed a crime or other conduct to disgrace you, right? Now, why would they say that? Because when you go right here and you look up the legal definition of, all right, watch this. See? So to incriminate somebody is to make someone appear guilty of a crime or wrongdoing, strongly implying the guilt of someone. So I'm gonna take you back to what we was looking up when we was looking up the character amount, right? Because they're trying to figure out the character of the person. You see what I'm saying? We're trying to figure out whether or not he's going to act in truth or he's going to act under a fictitious. Is he having issues with the way he think? Right now, in law, to incriminate means to charge with or show evidence or proof of involvement in a crime or fault. So if anybody was to charge you, like an officer, police officer, prosecuting attorney, that's incriminating. All right, because that's a false, because they know that it can also means to expose oneself or another's to the acquisition of or a charge of a crime. For example, a witness is not bound to give testimony that would tend to incriminate him or her. If someone refuses to say anything on the grounds that he might incriminate himself, it means that he is afraid that what he says might be used as evidence against him, right? So to incriminate you is to put you in a situation to where you're afraid to speak the truth, that you're afraid that what you say might be used against you. So you're afraid to speak out the truth. You come in and you don't stand in truth or ask the, you know what I'm saying? So that's what you're doing. You're allowing somebody to charge you or to show evidence that you're involved in a crime, but you won't stand up and speak the truth against the falsehood because there's no crime being committed. See, when you understand that you ain't committed a crime, if they charging you as a legal person, there's never been a crime committed. See, but if you allow yourself to be charged in that legal capacity, then that's what this is talking about, right? So when you come back to show evidence is admissible, such evidence is admissible, right? To afford a presumption that a particular party has not been guilty of a crime, of a criminal act, right? To affect the damage in a particular case, damages in a particular case, where the amount depends on the character and the conduct of any individual, and to impeach or confirm the veracity of a witness, right? See, to confirm whether or not, right, the accuracy, the truthfulness, or the habits of telling the truth. So what they trying to, you are the witness. The witness is the one who is appearing and showing up for the action. So they want to know whether or not you're going to actually appear and express yourself to be a witness and then give the truth of the testimony of the truth of the matter, in which a lot of us, we never do that. But I just wanted to show you that because that's all tied in when you go to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. So understanding like how all these things are all tied together when you filing your complaints, where you going to look up for the information, and getting familiar with these different websites, like the consumer lending, credit lenders. You come in here, you can read the laws and different things that they talk about. They got forms and requirements, right? Consumer installment lenders, like say you come here and you click on it, and then it tells you like the governing authority for consumer installment loan lenders is found in, and it gives you the code. It says traditional small loan companies and payday lenders separate themselves at 500, with a payday lender authorized for a very short-term loan for up to 500, and a traditional lender able to make loans with a minimum amount of 500. The consumer installment lender provisions were needed to cover a gap. The borrower of a very small amount who needs more time than 14 to 31 day limit on a payday lender. Therefore, the third, so it breaks it down to you, right? And then you can read like the laws and the requirements, right? So when you go to the laws and the requirements, it gives you like the total breakdown of what the laws and what the requirements are for like payday lenders, small little lenders that like get your title loan companies and stuff. So when you go in here, right, and like I said, man, it ain't no other way for us to do it but read. Like, I can't make it up. I can't. They be like, boy, you be finding something. No, I study so that I know what I want. You know what I'm saying? I want to know the truth. I don't want nobody holding my hand. I want to know the truth. I want to be able to show me where it's at, bro. Let me get loose. I'm going to get in it. You hear me? I'm going to dive in. And that's how you got to be. So when I'm showing you, I'm not showing you something that I'm thinking of. I'm showing you stuff that I've already studied. So look, check it out. Let's read a little bit of this. Let me bring this in. And I ain't saying that to discourage anybody. I'm saying that to encourage you to put the work in, man, because you can't do nothing but get lessons from it, right? The more you learn, the better you become, right? Now, installment lenders' interest fees allow, notwithstanding any other law to the contrary. Phrase consumer installment loans means secured or unsecured loans of any amount and payable in not less than 4 substantial equal installments over a period of not less than 120 days. The phrase consumer installment loan means a person licensed to make consumer installment loans. A consumer installment lender shall be licensed in the same manner and upon the same terms as a lender making consumer credit loans. Such consumer installment loans shall contract for and receive interest and fees in accordance to, and it gives us the code, consumer law. Installment loans shall be subject to the provisions of. All right, now if I had time, on my own, I'll go check all that out because that's how I do it, right? But in here, for time's sake, we're gonna keep it moving. Now, this is the definition section, right? So consumer credit loan shall mean prior to January 1st, 2002, loan for the benefit of or use by any individual or individuals. Number A, secured by a security agreement or other lien on tangible personal property or by an assignment of wages, salaries, or other compensation, or B, unsecured and whether with or without co-makers, grantors, endorsers, or sureties, beginning January the 1st, 2002, and thereafter loan for personal, family, or household use purposes in an amount of $500 or more. So basically, in so many words, it's pretty much telling you, all right, what it is, right? Is really a secured by a security agreement, right? So a consumer loan is a loan that's secured by an agreement that's payable in installments over a period of time. So usually when a consumer receives a loan, he receives a security, right, as an agreement or as a lien or as a right against an amount stated under the terms of an agreement. The director shall be the director of the division of finance or such agencies or agencies as may exercise the powers and duties now performed by such director. And the lender shall mean any person engaged in the business of making consumer credit loans. A person who makes an occasion consumer credit loan or who occasionally makes loans but not regularly engaged in the business of making consumer credit loans shall not be considered a lender but subject to. And then, I'm just showing you, like, when you see this, it's pretty much the same thing that we all been talking about. So when you say person, it's the individual, corporation. So we know it's like a business, it's an entity. All right, so when we go up here, I just want to show you this before I get out of here, right?